Wow, it's swing for the fences. What is up? For those of you that have been watching the NBA show that came over here to watch baseball, welcome. For those of you that just came to watch baseball, welcome. We've got a 5-game slate tonight. I have two of the finest individuals in all of daily fantasy sports content. One, JT Hayes. I don't know what the fuck JT's doing. He's biting his mouth or something right now. What are you biting? Huh? You bite your tongue? Are you biting your lip? What are you biting, JT Hayes? Hello.
I'm just listening to your monologue. It always intrigues me to see what you're going to come up with, what's going to come out of your mouth. I can assure the people that you're sober. You're sober today, which is good, and we're happy about that. And so that's it. I was just kind of being entertained by you.
What you don't understand is that the only show I'm consistently messed up for is the Old Guys Pod, which, by the way, should be coming back this year. Should be coming back in early this year is all I'll say about that. But, you know, if I'm working with DC, I can't be messed up. I got to be on my game. He wants to talk baseball, and I got to be sober. And it's as simple as that, JT. It's unfortunate, but, you know, up through lock, you got to say, what's going on, DC?
We actually have the opposite approach. Normally, I make sure to have at least one drink before I get on a show with you. You know, you're like the cause of it over here. But today, no, I'm riding the sober train with you today, and we got only a 5-game slate, and we got a whole hour to fill. So I'm already regretting my decision. Might have to steal off on camera and get into the fridge. You were welcoming people that left the NBA show to watch this show. Are we sure there was any of those people to welcome? Like, were you speaking to literally nobody, perhaps, when you said that? I'm not sure anyone's left that show, but they'll trickle in as that show winds down, of course. And I don't know, 5 games tonight.
Well, apparently 6 games on FanDuel, which yay, way to go! If you want to play the extra game tonight, so when does the FanDuel thing lock in? Like 20 minutes?
I don't know. Get in their contest now because those fill up pretty early, especially with
the 4 contests they have, and the grand prize is $8 today. Yeah. So
if you hit the nuts, you can go get some Chick-fil-A tonight on FanDuel.
So they threw the extra game in on there. Congratulations, FanDuel! You've done a wonderful job. White Sox in Detroit. If that's not a reason to play FanDuel over DraftKings tonight, I don't know what is. I just don't know what it is. See, Stevers came over. Stevers is here. He goes, I left that. I had to come back. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Welcome, Stevers. Thank you for joining.
Yeah,
61 watching. So I don't feel too bad here. It's not like there are 5 people, which there were for a few minutes.
Well, again, JSU probably just an oversight decided to, do a show at the same time the baseball show was on. So you'll have plenty of time to go watch the rest of the NBA show if that's what you want. I will tell you right now, you might want to come back in 15 minutes because we're going to bullshit for 15 minutes just to make sure we get everything done we need to get done. All right. It's only 5 games today, and we got to get somewhere by somewhere. We do have a happy birthday. And my favorite part, what's the movie? Happy birthday, dear Jesus. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. What is it? Name it. Come on. You can't name it.
I don't know. I don't watch movies.
It's an Army movie. Vince D'Onofrio is crazy. There's a guy named Joker in it. Half of the movie is in basic training. Half of the movie is in Vietnam. It's not Hamburger Hill, JT. You're old enough. You should know the name of this movie. God damn it, JT. Happy birthday.
Good Morning Vietnam? I don't know. I mean, what?
Yeah, there's a lot of Vietnam movies. This was one of them.
I mean, I don't know. DC, do you watch movies about war or just the clips about Hitler?
Full Metal Jacket. Thank you, Daniel Mordor. Thank you, Daniel.
That's too violent. That's where the guy kills himself with the shotgun in his toe. I mean,
but the song goes, "Happy birthday, dear Jesus," and I'm saying that to you. Happy birthday, dear JT. 50 years old, man. 50 years old. Are you using testosterone or anything else?
No.
Nothing. Your cock still works.
Yes.
It's impressive because at 48, my body's starting. I'm going to be there in 14 months, buddy. Is there any psychological barriers you've had to get over? It doesn't seem like you're happy about being 50 today. Because
for me, my birthday never really matters to me. Yeah. That's why no one ever really knows when it is. That's why I was like, I don't know if I should tell you, because Holden was asking me what's going on today. I'm like, I'm fielding a flood of messages from people I haven't heard from in 365 days. But it's no, I don't feel any different. I've noticed the last 10 years that I'm getting older. The knees, the joints a little bit more stiff sometimes. But nothing specifically today. It's a beautiful day here in Atlanta. I went for a nice run earlier. I felt fine. Didn't feel any worse for the wear just because of today. But people are making a big deal about it. So I'm going to try and embrace the fact that this is a celebration of a half a century of absolute nonsense on this earth. So that's what we're going to do.
Is your wife doing anything special for you?
She did. So I was up early this morning because I had meetings, and she got up before me, which she usually does during the week, but like not a lot before me, which she did today. And she made me bacon, which she doesn't, do during the week. So that was nice. I got some bacon this morning, and that was delicious, very tasty. And now here we are.
Was that a pseudonym for something else, or was it like really bacon?
No, it was bacon.
Okay. Good question here from Beefy Layer. Did you run with your wife on your shoulders? I don't know if you're familiar with this, but JSU actually used to jog with his now wife on his shoulders, and vice versa. Is that something that you do to stay in shape and look as healthy as you are at 50?
Yeah, so I absolutely could do it because my wife, of course, is light as a feather, but adding any additional weight would probably be bad for the 50-year-old knees. So besides, she was at the office. I work from home. So I had some meetings in the morning. I had a break, went on my quick run, came back, had more meetings, and this is the highlight of my day. I saw that you were on, Holden. You're not usually on Thursdays. I usually get at least DC once a week. I got him twice a week this week. And I just said, man, can it be 4:45 already? Derek, suck my cock. It's 50, not 60. But yeah. So I was just looking forward to 4:45. I just kind of counting down the minutes, and it's nice. It's nice.
What's up, Gary? Hey, Gary, you can hop on too, buddy. Come on. Gary, come on the show. We haven't seen you in a while, buddy. You're an old mofo too. DC, on the other hand, I don't even know what's going through his mind right now. Just feeling like, why can't we just start the show in 20 minutes? Why do I have to listen to this? DC, would you like to at least give us a little insight as to what's going through your mind right now?
Well, no, first I must commend JT, as I always do anytime I'm on a show with someone and it's their birthday. I commend JT for showing up to work on his birthday, as any real man does. Anyone that needs to take their birthday off past the age of 21,
get out of here.
Unserious person in my estimation, especially if you're a male. The girls say you can get their birthday off. I get it, but us guys we got to show up to work, even when it's our birthday. And a 50th birthday, maybe I could make an exception for that, a big 50. But no, JT is here, ready to talk ball, and Hey, I commend him for it. And please hit the like button, man. If JT's here on his birthday, you can't even hit the like button for us. Be better, people. Hit the like button. I don't know. I don't have too much more to say. Holden,
that's fine. Me and JT
you just throw it to me and ask me to give a monologue over here. You got to prompt me up.
Look, Garland Williams. People need to
that is. I'll be honest with you. That is a badass YouTube photo. I mean, that is someone who probably look at that again. It's a beautiful blue shirt, red tie, power tie, and that's someone who maybe gets involved in YouTube for a living, right? Someone who has to have meetings on here, wants that as the professional. Look, Garland, what do you do for a living? I'm curious.
You should see his LinkedIn.
It looks like he's a senator, a Republican senator from Nebraska. That's my guess at what Garland is.
I like that.
All right. Garland is a Republican senator from Nebraska. Not many. There's a lot. Well, they're mostly Republicans, actually. So, yeah. Republican senator from Nebraska. Senator, what are you thinking there, DC? Let me put Garland Watkins back up here for a second. What's his job?
I was gonna have essentially the same guess. I might have picked a different state, but yes,
okay.
Right. That's exactly what he looks like.
JT, what does Garland do?
Well, Garland's in quality for a manufacturing company, but I wish Garland, you needed to play along with us here. We were going to have.
He actually is. I thought you were making that up. He actually is in quality for a manufacturing company. I don't even know what quality for a manufacturing company does, but you look
quality
like
assurance. He makes sure that when the shit is put together, it's not going to fall apart.
I'll tell you this much. This much I know for sure. Garland shows up for quality for the manufacturing company on each and every birthday. He has since the age of 18, and he won't be missing anytime soon. I don't think Garland has ever called in sick to work once in his entire life.
We need a Garland here at RPS.
We do need a Garland because maybe we wouldn't have two shows on at the same time.
Get the train back on the rails. Quality.
Quality control, Garland Watkins.
Jobs at RPS.com if you're looking, Garland.
Thanks, Garland. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, hop in here, Garland. We need a new quality control.
Shoot that resume, info@runpuresports.com, and we'll get it to the right person.
Clean this shit up over here. No question. So again, 50th birthday for JT. I purposefully put the wrong birthday in Discord so nobody can wish me happy birthday. I do it. I do it on every.
I put one. I'm not giving this away.
Well, I don't remember what day it is either. So like once a year, it'll just pop up. It'll be like February 8th, and I'll see all these balloons and shit. It'll be happy birthday.
Yeah. That's the smartest idea I've ever heard you say after doing 2 years of shows with you, Holden. So I'm taking notes here.
It's absolutely sensational. Just do that. It fucks with people. They wish you happy birthday. You're like, absolutely. You think I'm going to tell people when it's my birthday? I don't give a shit. Now 50's coming up for me in 14 months, and I'm not looking forward to it. It's not good. But what are you going to do? I guess you got to celebrate that you made it this long, JT. That's the best thing, right? You just got to celebrate that you're not dead.
If you're going to put it anywhere, and obviously it doesn't matter because I'm married, but you put it on Facebook because I've heard today from every woman I've ever had sex with that doesn't wish I'm dead. So it's only a small handful that doesn't wish I'm dead.
From your wife?
But she made me bacon. But yeah, if you're single, your birthday might be a day to, you get back in the groove. I'm married, and every day I'm in the groove. So there you
go. Yeah. I was just talking the other day about the run I went on before settling down with the young lady that I'm with right now. And I will always remember it fondly, JT. I will always remember it fondly. Yours probably happened in your 20s, whereas mine happened in my 40s. It was a wonderful run. But now it's over, and it's time to start realizing that I'll be 60 in 11 plus years and 70 and 21 plus. And at some point in time, JT, I'm going to tell you, before we die, the New York Mets are going to win a World Series. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
I'm dubious about that. By the way, I've only been married for 7 years. So
seriously?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Is this your second marriage?
No.
You just been with her forever, and then one day woke up and said, we need to get married to go along with the status quo. What?
It's kind of a long story.
Okay. I mean, listen, we need to go.
I mean, we have time. We have time, but we don't have that much time.
You have 43 minutes, JT. Get to it.
I have time, JT. Me and DC would love to hear your story.
Yeah.
We're not going to, are we?
Let's just say, I wasn't high on commitment. Right. So there were periods of our relationship where she may have wished I was dead, and but everything worked out in the end, and that's what matters most, Holden. Everything worked out in the end, and here we are, and you know what? It's just great. It's just great.
Three gentlemen just bullshitting about 50-year-olds in DC, just really not having too much to say about anything at this point. I will say, and I don't know if you heard this yesterday, DC, I'm in shambles right now, though. My girlfriend left on.
Now, you've been dating what, like a few days?
Well, I don't know, almost 2 years. We just moved in
2
together.
Years.
Yeah, we just moved in together 2 weeks ago, and she's been gone for like 5 days. I have no fucking clue what to do. Just none. Yesterday, there was no basketball on. It was only baseball. I watched a little baseball. I had literally no idea what the hell to do by myself. And it really is shocking. Like, I don't know if your wife ever goes out of town, JT. I know you do a lot, probably to get away from her. But when you're in the house by yourself, I like walked the dog 6 times. I didn't even like walking the dog. I just kept taking the dog out because I was so bored. Like, edibles do not help you pass the time when you're in complete shambles.
I don't know. I mean, there are times, of course, when I'm like, I miss her. I can't wait to, till she's back or I'm back. And then there are times where it's like, oh, this will be nice. A couple of days where I'm going to sit and watch sports and play DFS and not have anyone asking me to do anything. And, that's kind of fun, right? It's not fun all the time, but it's fun sometimes. You just have a little bit of you time. DC knows what that's like. You just every now and then it's nice to get a day to yourself. You wake up and decide what you want to do, and no one's asking you to do things. You don't have any responsibilities, and that's kind of the way it is. So you get used to it. You get used to it, Holden. It's fine. It'll get better as time goes on. Justin, first of all, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. But look, there's 5 games. This show's an hour long. DC and I know DC is prepared.
Yep.
We'll see if we
prepared. I have nothing better to do today. Like I said, I'm in shambles. I got nothing better to do than prep.
Holden is great. And we'll see if we get into some disagreements about pitching like we had on Monday. Monday was a fun show.
We got other things to talk about first. We're not allowed to get to – there's literally been a mandate. I am not allowed to bring up baseball for another 7 minutes.
That's fine.
And here's the other thing, Justin. If you're a subscriber, there's a basketball show on right now. And it's for NBA Showdown, and I recommend you go check it out. If you're not a subscriber, I'm really not supposed to say anything mean to anybody anymore. So I will just say to you, have a wonderful day. I hope you have a great day today, Justin.
We have lost 10 people, 10 viewers in the last 2 minutes. So I don't know if that's indicative of what they're thinking about.
They went to the NBA. They went to the NBA.
Probably.
I'll also say this as a single man now for the last 5 days. Like, how often do you clean toilets? Because I haven't even bothered. There's just no reason to clean a toilet for at least every other week if you're a single man.
A general rule of thumb in our house, because we have two bathrooms, and so my wife uses one that's always crystal clean, and then I have mine. Mine would also be the guest bathroom. So a good rule of thumb is if anyone's going to enter our home and perhaps have to use the restroom, I have to clean my bathroom. So several times a week I get in there and make sure. I mean, I'm not a dirty person. It's not particularly disgusting in there, but it's cleaned frequently enough because when we have guests, that is where they relieve themselves.
Right. And me and my lady have different bathrooms too. I mean, I got my own toilet. She's got her own, but she has the bathroom. I use her shower, but that's it. Like, don't fuck with my stuff. I don't like hairspray, all that garbage that women have. I don't need it. Now,
yeah,
DC,
I keep my own hairspray for sure.
DC, how often does mom make you clean the toilet?
Depends on if I'm misbehaving or not. Sometimes it's a daily thing if I'm acting up. But usually get away with about once every 3 months or so.
Once every 3 months? And honestly, I think once every 3 weeks is probably the right answer.
Yeah.
If you don't really need it, it's your own germs. It's your own disgustingness. All right. It's time to get going here. I don't know if the NBA show is still going. I'm going to see. But actually, if you're a member, so they're still going, beautiful. If you're a member, would you please go over to the premium show and tell them to wrap it up just to fuck with them? I'm not even kidding right now. Please go over to the premium show, get into the chat, and tell those guys to hurry up because I would really appreciate it if it just finished. Wonderful. I wonder if JSU, if you're watching, solid work scheduling 2 shows at the same time. Very good. Very good work, JSU. Very proud of you. Way to go. And if he didn't see that live, make sure you send him a message in Discord. Great stuff. Good work there, JSU. Good work there, buddy. Well, guess what? We're going to get into baseball now. We're going to do it because the NBA show is over. DC has been sitting there for how long? I mean, he's been 20 minutes. We've all been almost on for 20 minutes. So DC, I also want you to go super slow. Like, I want pitcher by pitcher breakdown. I want exit velos, McSlurves a lot, everything about it, please. So DC, please give us an overview of the slate before you painstakingly break down every single pitcher like he should be broken down.
I feel like this is a lot of pressure. People have had to listen to your bullshit for the last 23
minutes and 38 seconds.
And now we finally, they put up with all that to wait for the baseball talk to start.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the worst pitching slate ever.
Everybody's like, hurry up.
And
some guys, there's absolutely nothing to break down unless you go back a couple of seasons.
yeah, it's I have, like, for once, like, very little to say about most of these pitchers. So real stellar product we're putting out there.
Do we get back to JT's 50th birthday, or are you sure?
Yeah, no. I'll try. Yeah, we'll start at the top. Two big names at the top: Logan Gilbert, Aaron Nola. Gilbert has been pretty damn awesome this season. I think I was kind of skeptical of him taking a real step forward, but I'm starting to buy into it a little bit more. Especially today. I mean, he's pitching at home, which is great in Seattle. He gets Oakland, which is great. And, given the other options on the slate, like, it gets, I don't know if you disagree or JT, but I think it gets ugly right after Gilbert, right? Like, there's not really anybody else that I have a whole ton of confidence at all in this slate. Of course, that will be reflected in ownership. SaberSim has Gilbert sitting at right around 60%. I honestly think it'll be higher than that for Logan Gilbert today. I think 70, maybe up to 80% on some smaller single entry type stuffs, which it still might be worth it just because anyone else, I think, on this slate, you're taking a risk. Aaron Nola, 9,500. Like, you could make a good case, I think, that he's the most talented pitcher on the slate. It's close, I think, between him and Gilbert. I don't really want to play him, though, JT, on the road here in Atlanta. Obviously, one of the best offenses. I know, they've been a little bit hit or miss recently, but still not a team that I want to mess with if I can avoid it. So I think Nola is still in play. But like usual, he's better this year at home. It's kind of strange because it is a hitter's park, certainly in Philadelphia, but he always does much better, especially strikeout-wise when he's at home. I just don't love it on the road, 9,500. Probably going to go away from that. I do think people are going to kind of end up there just sort of out of default, right? Because you do got to play two pitchers. He's the second biggest name. He does have strikeout stuff, obviously. But I'll probably go elsewhere. I am seeing him perhaps be the second highest owned pitcher on the slate. I would rather save a little bit and get a little bit different. My second favorite pitcher here is JP Sears. I've been on him a little bit throughout the season. He's been Oakland's best pitcher, and 3 of the last 4 starts, he's been solid despite some pretty tough matchups, right? He's faced in Houston, Texas, in New York, Seattle, in LA, in Texas, Mets, in Baltimore. Like, pretty tough run of games for a series. He's held up well. He can get strikeouts. He does get whiffs on that fastball. 7,300 on DraftKings. He is my preferred SP2. That same game Gilbert Sears combination looks good to me. Beyond him, it gets rough. San Francisco is a bullpen game. Those guys are off the table for me. I'm not paying the 8,400 for Junis coming out of the bullpen. Gibson in New York, it's a no. Just not a very good pitcher, tough pitching environment. Kyle Hendricks making his first start of the year. He's not a DFS guy anyway, right? Even when he's rolling, his strikeouts aren't really there. I can't imagine playing him against the Mets. Other side of that game, Carlos Carrasco has been pretty brutal. I think, every start. He's made 4 starts this year, hasn't gotten past 5 innings in any of them, hasn't scored 10 DK points a single time this entire year. Again, I'm just not interested in going there. Dylan Dodd, you can talk about him, JT, but I don't really have much faith in him whatsoever either. I like the Philly side. So, you asked every pitcher, Holden. We're almost there. One more guy, Clark Schmidt.
Would you slow down?
Is it reasonable? We'll get it going. Clark Schmidt, I think, is a reasonable option. He does have good stuff. He can miss bats. Listen, I think Baltimore could absolutely get to him with the lefties, especially hit some home runs in New York. But on this slate, I think you got to consider him. He is my third favorite option. So, yeah, top 4, I would rank them Gilbert 1, Sears 2. I'll go Clark Schmidt 3 and Nola 4. Not really considering anyone else on this slate personally.
JT, before you get to your breakdown of pitching, which I am very, very looking forward to, I would like to just say some of the magical parts of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets, Run Pure Sports in particular, would be the Discord. And today, now I didn't know Steve Boyd was on this too, but Steve and I looked at the card. We said the Nationals are facing a left-hander. They could score 4 runs today, not a big deal. So I'm looking in the Discord right now while DC is talking. Nicky Diesel, okay? Good old Nicky Diesel. The Nationals are trash. Why should we have been hesitant over 3.5 runs? Look good on paper. Snell mowing after that first. Now, why do I bring this up? They're in the 4th freaking inning, and I would think by now people understand that baseball is a 9-inning game. And runs often happen in bunches. Would you agree or disagree with that, JT? Like, just because the Nationals need 3 runs, they do have 5 more innings to get there. Are we very concerned about that? How concerned should we be freaking out like Nicky Diesel in the Discord?
No, the 4th inning is always too soon to freak out. If you get to the 7th, 8th inning and you get those the Josh Haders for the Padres coming in, then you can kind of be like, all right, this isn't looking good. But Snell's been in and out of trouble this game. And look, I mean, 3.5 runs against Snell, I think you'd take that more often than not, especially the way he's pitched the last couple of seasons. So, yeah, definitely a little bit too early to get worried.
But that's the best part about Discord is people say stupid things and then you can chastise them for it, just like you do on the show. The Poe, DJ, and Stoner, Sativa, it's always an indica slate, buddy. Always. You can't be hyper on the couch, just freaking out. It's all bullshit, too. It's all bullshit. 100% all bullshit. They tell you it's one and the other. It's the same thing. I'm telling you right now, it's all the same stuff. Anyways, JT, you don't know what I'm talking about. If you're a member of the respected law enforcement community for some democratic country or another, why don't you give me a breakdown of pitching and why Logan Gilbert is going to be owned by literally everybody today?
Yeah, I was a deputy police chief in Guyana. So, but back to
Guyana or real Guyana?
Listen, I'm not at liberty to say which one it was. DC and I were on the Monday's show, and I felt the same way about Luis Castillo. First of all, and DC remembers this from our best ball shows prior to the season, there were a couple of pitchers that I was in love with this season. Framber Valdez, and then next was everyone but Marco Gonzalez on Seattle's pitching staff. Castillo, Gilbert, Kirby. Feel the same way I do on this slate as I did with the slate on Monday with Luis Castillo, which is basically, I don't think you can go wrong with locking him in here. 9,900 is a fair price for him. He's been underpriced, had some bumps here and there, but pitched well against the Braves. I played him as well as Kirby against the Braves last weekend. They did well. So I think, Luis Castillo is a clear number 1 here. I also agree with DC. I think JP Sears is a clear number 2. Remember from last season when he was up and down between the majors and AAA with the Yankees, he was one of our darlings. He was a guy, every time he came up, 5,300, 5,800, we were saying we're going to play JP Sears. He usually rewarded us. He has an excellent history against this Mariners team. Now they're likely to be missing Ty France again. So I think that's a very good place to start. Where we differ a little bit is where I see Aaron Nola. I don't differ from him too broadly here, but you look at Aaron Nola's history against the Braves, his lowest fantasy output in the last 7 or 8 starts is 13 fantasy points. And where I view Nola tonight is looking at the last couple of weeks with the Braves, you have Bobby Miller, you have the Seattle starters, all these right-handed pitchers who have gotten their strikeouts, even when they've given up a couple of runs against the Braves here in Truist Park, which is not a prolific hitter's park. It's actually a little bit more of a pitcher's park. I think you could look up at the end of the night and Aaron Nola might be the second highest scoring pitcher. He may be very close to JP Sears. So I'll have some Gilbert. After that, it gets a little tough. I'm not really interested in picking on the Orioles right now. I think Clark Schmidt is a little bit overpriced. We've only seen him have a couple of good games. Those good games were against teams that strike out quite a bit, right? I think one of the games was either Oakland or Kansas City. One of the games, Toronto. They can swing and miss some. He talked about Hendricks a little bit, a tough play on this slate with him making his first start with a pretty healthy bullpen. Marcus Stroman had a decent outing last night. If I'm multi-entering, I do think, as bad as he's been, that in this spot with the weather, I might take a couple of shots on Cookie Carrasco at just 7K. It's a lot of swing and miss in the Cubs lineup. I am going to play the Cubs, but I can envision a world where, because of what happened with Senga, because the Mets bullpen has been so bad, that if Carrasco is pitching well, he gets to closer to that 100 pitch mark. His velocity was up in his last start. And if he can keep it together and throw strikes, he could get you at that 7K between 15 and 18 points. So that's pretty much it. I can't see myself to answer DC's question on Dylan Dodd. Can't do it. Like the Phillies here in this spot. So I'm off of these guys. You're not playing. The thing with the San Francisco Giants is you've got an opener. Then there's some speculation that maybe Webb is going to pitch here a little bit. He's coming off some type of injury. Maybe it's going to be Jake Junius. You don't know what they're going to do. Julio Teheran, absolutely not. No, thank you. And that's it. That's really it. Not playing Kyle Gibson against the Yankees like DC said. So comes down to a really solid, very solid on two pitchers. The pitchers in that Seattle game, a little bit of Nola, some Carrasco, and maybe a share of Schmidt or two, but I don't love it, so probably not as much.
Go for it.
We're pretty close, obviously, then. We both have the same top two, Gilbert and Sears. Maybe we've got Nola and Schmidt flip-flopped. And I'm with you on Carrasco. He would be maybe the final guy that I would include if playing, if playing a bunch of lineups or if I wanted to get contrarian. So, yeah, it's you can only get so different on a 5-game slate where one of the pitchers everybody's going to play anyway. So, yeah, I hear you.
And Carrasco's going to be 18% owned. I wouldn't even go that high. I'd be like 12%. This way, if he gets to that 20-point mark, you're different in one of your lineups where maybe your bats come together and it's different enough to get you up to the top.
All right, so and I think just going with that Seattle-Oakland same-game pairing is probably going to get you different too. It's I don't think you got to be a genius to do that. And what's Logan Gilbert at tonight? 99.5%. Is that what we're looking at ownership-wise?
I'm seeing in the mid-70s. I agree with DC. I think that as people kind of start to make lineups and see what they look like, I think it's more likely you see maybe a little bit closer to 80%. In single entry, DC, he may crest 85.
I don't know if he's kidding or not. DC?
Well, you start to get like 85 is like you're starting to get uncomfortable, right? Like at a certain point, he does become a bad play. Like that number is right. Like if you were told that literally everyone else was going to play him, of course you wouldn't play him, right? He's not a good play if literally everyone else has him.
Yeah,
85. I'm getting to the point where it's still baseball, right? Like something could happen. And if you want to get contrarian, I might do it on a lineup. I'll probably play some A's, honestly, if you're not playing Gilbert, and just go for it, right? It's not going to work often, but man, when it does work, it's not going to be very many of you, right? Because everybody has Nola. Even some of the players that won't have that many A's, and all of a sudden you're different. Again, it's obviously most likely not going to work, but it's not necessarily about how often it works. It's how much you win when it does, and that. It's like the obvious way to get to the top if it does actually work out.
There's a FanDuel question, and we really didn't address the fan. We made fun of FanDuel at the top, but we didn't really address FanDuel at the top. And someone wanted to know how you feel about Lucas Giolito, whether it be as a person or a DFS player on 10K on FanDuel today. So if both of you would like to chime in on Lucas Giolito, or neither one of you, really doesn't matter. But DC, do you like him today as a person, as a pitcher, as anything.
Yeah, I think he's probably the second best option after Logan Gilbert.
Yeah.
I still think it's close between him and Sears. You do get a discount. Giolito 10K, Sears 8,200 over there. Tigers offense coming around a little bit. Specifically, Riley Green has looked much better these last couple weeks. So I do like him over on FanDuel too. But yeah, absolutely. Giolito on this pitching slate has to be in play on FanDuel tonight.
JT, you got anything here or just move on?
No, I agree with DC. If you're playing FanDuel, I think Giolito's a good option here.
Pretty sure we should hire Lush as our new analyst. His arm action is short, and so is his dick.
All right.
Who are we talking about? Who were
That's
we?
Giolito. He's got that abbreviated arm action. I can't speak to the second part of Lush's
I can't either.
statement, but I knew who he was talking about by the short arm action.
Okay. I mean,
Maybe get him involved in marketing.
so says you. I'm not sure about Giolito either there, and I really don't give a damn. Anyways, here's what's going on. Like button would be wonderful. That would be terrific. Second of all, told you about the Discord, how things are so fun in there. The cool part about it is that you will actually get useful knowledge from the Discord, because after we're done, then when you're a member, you could go talk to JT one-on-one or DC one-on-one, or maybe Big T or JSU will be – well, JSU's too busy making shows overlap, so you can't get in touch – how about that gig, JT? So anyways, you can still talk to JSU and the rest of them, plus showdown shows still going on through the NBA Finals. That has been extremely lucrative. It has been terrific. What does this mean? You know what I meant. Maybe you should apply it to – what does that mean? Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
I can't decipher that one for you. I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. It's too bad. So like button would be great. Just join the site already. It's a great time to join. Baseball season out here. Showdown season. The Golf crew's crushing it. Snyder had the Koepka win. Pre-tournament was a 24-1, something like that. So he absolutely murdered the golf betting side and the golf DFS side. This business here is as good as it's ever been. I'll tell you that right now. So RPS. Join it. Let's go with, is it JT15? Is that what it is?
JT Hayes 15 is what it is.
You wanted it. It's so confusing. Just go.
I know. It's very upset. It upset me as well. It upset me as well.
All right. Let's move on to the
use DC 15. That's easy to remember.
But I don't think his is DC 15. I think it's draft.
It is. No, DC 15. That's right.
Oh, use DC 15. It's the easiest thing. It's 4 things that you got to type. I love it. Let me check on Nicky Diesel real quick. No, he's still blaming me. That's fine. I mean, listen, Nicky, love you, guy, but who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows it? I still think the Nationals are getting to 4 runs today. They had the freaking bases loaded. Things happen. DC, first game on the slate, offense-wise, we got to get into is Baltimore and the Yankees. Kyle Gibson and Schmidt's out there for New York tonight. Let's say on a 5-game slate, every team is in play. Who would be in play from this one, Draft Cheat?
Yeah, no Cedric Mullins. I think he would have been the single best play on Baltimore, so that's a little disappointing against Clark Schmidt. I guess if you like Clark Schmidt a little bit like I do, that's a boost for him. Lefties are really the guys that have done the most damage against Schmidt by far. So, of course, like Adam Frazier, I don't really want to play. But Adley Rutschman, I think, is clearly the top catcher on this slate. He looks like an awesome guy at 4,900 to use. Santander in there. Even Gunnar Henderson has shown a little bit of life over the last week or two. I think he's a solid play. So I'm looking more at the lefties, at least in terms of one-offs against Clark Schmidt and the Yankees. Obviously, you can go to a full stack here. Schmidt has proven to be – he can get whiffs, but the contact that he gives up is often loud. A lot of home runs. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So, yeah, I really like these Baltimore lefties in particular. Yankee side, it's not a lineup that I love for the most part. I'm probably on this slate not going to mess too much with the back half of this lineup. But the first, specifically that Judge, Rizzo, Bader, 2, 3, 4 looks good. Judge and Rizzo in particular. No surprise there. 2 guys that are, hitting the ball. Judge is it's crazy. Like last year, obviously, he had 62 home runs. A lot of his metrics this year are even better. Barrel rate is up. Like he's just absolutely locked in right now. So, yeah, Judge, I think you can make a case for him as a top overall hitter on this slate. Obviously, a pretty good game here to target right off the bat.
JT, let's get in here. Yankees, Orioles, just like DC said, no said Mullins. We do, however, have some pretty damn good bats in this game. Is there a one-off or something? Because, again, 10 teams that are playing, I don't cross any of them out.
Yeah, I think mini stacks here on both sides. I will say this about Adam Frazier. He did hit a home run last night. He's actually been hitting a little bit. And with Schmidt's struggles to the left side, I'm not going to cross him out. If he shows up in my Orioles mini stacks, I'm perfectly fine to leave him in there. Everything else DC said, I agree with Gunnar. And then, the Yankees, I know Isaiah Kiner-Falefa actually had a decent game last night, but yeah, please don't chase that. Don't chase that.
Don't do it. Do it. Like button. Just do it. Let's get that going. It's wonderful. The algorithm, all the other bullshit. You know about that. You've been watching RPS shows for a while now. DC, I'm going to go to the second biggest Braves homer here, JT Hayes, who obviously is a big Braves fan with his New York accent. But with that being said, JT, you must have been grandfathered in, I suppose. Also, I saw you tweet a picture out. Do you really have season tickets in the outfield? Like, you don't have enough money to afford good seats? What was that?
I'm right next to the Chop House, Holden. I am the fourth row, just on the foul side of the foul pole.
Again, you couldn't afford better seats?
What?
You couldn't afford better seats?
Do you have season tickets, Holden?
Not anymore. You know what? I've never had to buy season tickets. Never had to.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I've been given great seats to where I've never had to.
So you go to as many games as you want, whenever you want?
Sure, I could. Sure. Do I really want to go to Coors Field an hour from my house? No, I don't. No.
Oh, so you live in the ghetto. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough money to live in the nicer areas near.
No, I live, a while away in the ghetto, all by myself, JT. So, anyways, you and your shitty season tickets. Why don't you talk about your Braves though? So when you watch
Freddie Freeman's home run the other night. Freddie Freeman's home run the other night was like literally 10 feet from me, but it bounced the other way into the Chop House, so it was very disappointing.
Should have gotten better seats. You would have gotten one.
All right. Well, good job, Al. Next time I'm in Detroit, I'm coming with you.
Left field, better than JT.
Yeah, there you go. I like the Phillies here. I like the Phillies bats here against odd results. Outside of one sort of outlier performance against St. Louis, just hasn't been all that good. And I think the Phillies can get to him. The Braves bullpen is a little bit like, the rest of the pitching staff, honestly, a little bit dinged up here. So I don't mind the Phillies at all. And like I said with the Braves, you do have signs that guys are coming to life. Matt Olson the last couple of weeks, a bunch of home runs, starting to hit the ball hard and put it in play. Austin Riley last night, a big game. Even Ozzie Albies scorched a couple of balls last night. So there's some signs that some of these guys on the Braves that have kind of been just treading water are maybe getting ready to come out. But on the flip side, Aaron Nola has managed this lineup well enough in the past, and I'm willing to take a few shots on him. But I do like some Brave bats as well. Maybe not a full stack here. Just pick out those guys in particular. Olson, Riley. Acuna is very expensive, but if you have the salary, can certainly include him. And then Ozuna's actually been hitting well, surprisingly. So there's a couple of guys in there that I would take mini stacks on.
DC. So Ozuna hit a home run last night, and yeah, you're right, JT. He's had a couple of good games recently. How do you want to roster the Braves tonight? And then obviously get into Philadelphia. Can you start with the Braves though? Because if I'm mini stacking him, I almost feel like I have to get Acuna in there, but he's 6,500.
Yeah, hard to avoid. I think Acuna, if you're going with the Braves, best fantasy player in the world right now, not close. He will run, I think, if he gets a chance on Aaron Nola, who you can steal some bases against. Acuna just runs on everybody. It doesn't matter too much who's out there, but yeah, he's an awesome play. I like the Braves a lot here. I think they're going to get to Nola tonight. I think you can play, honestly, anybody in this lineup if you want to go there. If I had to rank them, it would be Acuna 1, probably Murphy 2, Olson 3, Rosario 4, and I'll go Ozuna, who's been on fire recently, 5th. But yeah, you can go to any of these guys. JT, I do want to ask you a question. Your opinion on Michael Harris, because man, he has been brutal. Really, all season hasn't done anything. I was kind of sticking by him because the price has been in free for all along with his performance. The ownership, of course, down. Some of the metrics, they were looking basically on par with last year. Like he's actually striking out less. He's walking more. Like the barrel rate all looks pretty similar, but man, the results have not been there. Any thoughts on Michael Harris? Because he's been hurting the wallet a little bit over here recently.
None specifically. Just, second season, right? Second season in the big leagues. We see this sometimes where guys have that breakout season. The next season, the league adjusts to them, right? So they may be pitching him a little bit differently, but he's been out there taking early BP. They've been working with him on staying through the zone and trying to hit more line drives. A lot of what I've seen from him has been he's been trying more for power than for line drives and be able to use his legs and use his speed. So they've been really working with him to try and stay flat through the zone, drive the ball through the zone, get behind it, and go the other way in particular. Some of the things that Freddie Freeman does exceptionally well, that he did very well with this organization, that Matt Olson has been doing. You see when Matt Olson gets hot, like he has over the course of the last 5 to 8 days, he's hitting home runs not so much to dead center, but just to the left field side of dead center, right? Staying on the ball longer, hitting it that way. If you remember Freddie Freeman's home run off of Josh Hader in the playoffs a couple of seasons ago, kind of an opposite field home run, right? That's what they want these lefties to do. Stay on the ball, not try and hit it out, but try and hit line drives, and for Harris in particular, use his legs. So I think he's going to come around. Can't pick out the day. I'm definitely not Xing him out. I know I've seen a lot of people in our Discord saying, of course, results-based, right? Results-based reaction. He's terrible. I'm never playing him again. Never again. Look, Michael Harris is going to get on base. He's going to steal bases. I think it's going to happen sooner than later. So I would definitely not cross him out of your player pool.
Yeah, I'll say like Lush25, loyal member of chat here, says I think he's been playing hurt. Like he messed his back up pretty early in the season, missed I think 3 weeks almost. I don't think that's it though. I mean, he's playing every day. His defense in center field is still all world. Like I think he's healthy. I just think it's just his timing, his approach is a little bit off. I'm with you. I do think he'll get it going, and with you as well. I certainly wouldn't be Xing him out on this slate if you're going to the Braves, because really good running matchup too. I still think Harris is going to run if he gets a chance. He just has never been on first base to have a chance to steal second. So I'm sticking with Harris for the most part, especially with the decreased price point. Over to the Phillies, I think they look really good here. Dylan Dodd getting the start. This isn't a start where he forced his way onto the roster by pitching well in the minor leagues, right? The Braves just don't. They've got injuries to Max Fried, to Kyle Wright. We haven't seen Soroka be able to come back yet. And they just need someone to take the ball and try to get through as many innings as you can. I mean, he's getting killed in AAA, an ERA close to 7, 2.3 home runs per 9. Both sides of the plate are getting to him, a lot of fly balls. Like, it's a dangerous lineup to be giving up a lot of hard contact, a lot of fly balls. Obviously, Phillies have a ton of power, and I think we're going to see fireworks, a high-scoring game here in Atlanta. I like both sides.
All right, so let me just ask you this. When you're stacking the Phillies up, I want nothing to do with Edmundo Sosa. Is everybody else in the lineup good to go, or is there anybody else that you completely avoid?
Yeah, I would say pretty much everyone else. Brandon Marsh has been ice cold, but he's now cheap enough at 3,200. You can do it anyway because he is a guy who has a lot of power too. So yeah, I'm pretty much in on, frankly, almost all of the hitters in for both Philly and the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, Marsh was scratched yesterday or the day before. Do you know what that injury was? I know he's back in there.
I didn't see. No.
Okay.
You can find it. I mean, it's not going to be that.
Shoulder inflammation. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. He's probably
making that up, or are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious.
Inflammation. He's right. That's what it was. So good job.
Holden, Jesus.
What? I don't know. Sometimes I just make shit up, throw it out there, and you guys agree with it. So why shouldn't DC do that?
I mean, it depends. If we're in the mood to be done with you, then it's much easier to just be like, Holden, that's genius. You're absolutely right.
Sure, it's been like that for about 45 minutes now. We started the show 50 minutes ago. But that's all right. The show wasn't on for the first 15 minutes because there was another show on. Anyways, JT, I'm not going to come to you first for our third game. I'm going right back to my guy. I know. You've got to deal with it, pal. DC, game number 3, San Francisco and the Milwaukee Brewers. Are the Giants going to be chalk? I'm not buying this. It's not true. Right?
Can't even go first on my birthday. Very hurtful.
Yeah, I don't want you to. You're 50. You're going to die soon. Get over it.
I like the Giants a lot. I mean, Brewers are starting Julio Teheran. I think that's confirmed at this point. Another situation for the Brewers where, I mean, JT, you're familiar with this guy as many moons ago, maybe just prior to your 40th birthday, a top Braves prospect coming up through the system was never really any good, right? He had a few moments, but for the most part, disappointing, bounced around the league. Looking at his numbers this year in AAA, he's always been a guy who's been absolutely crushed by left-handed bats in particular. And it appears that has not changed for Julio Teheran. No surprise, given he's into his 30s now. So yeah, I think this Giants team looks really good. Of course, you have the Gabe Kapler pinch hit shenanigans to deal with. But I think most of these guys should be safe. Mount Wade, Conforto, Yastrzemski. And listen, against Teheran, just one swing of the bat, you can get there to value. So yeah, I'm in on these Giants, particularly the left-handed bats.
All right, what do you got for me, JT? We playing any Giants?
Yeah, I mean, they're not that much more highly owned than the Phillies, who are the next most highly owned team, and then Seattle. And, when you look at Milwaukee, the bullpen has been second worst on this slate throughout the course of the season behind Oakland. And the other thing is the only lefty, at least the only non-spot starting lefty in the bullpen is Hobie Milner. He threw 18 pitches last night. So you should get all of these bad right-handed pitchers out of Milwaukee's bullpen. And that means, to DC's point, you should see more innings, more at-bats out of these left-handers that are usually at risk to be pinch hit. So I do like the Giants. This is going to be an interesting game it's not even going to be all that interesting to watch, to be honest. But from a pitching standpoint, with what San Francisco is going to do, it's going to be Alexander. Then it may be Logan Webb. It may be Jake Junis. It may be anyone who he can find. And that Kapler is going to match up. And what we've seen this season out of Milwaukee is Craig Counsell is playing the matchups as well. So I think there's a lot of players in this Milwaukee lineup that you have to be a little bit careful about pinch hit risk. And on this slate, I just don't love them enough to try and figure out which are the guys that are more likely to get 4 or 5 at-bats than the other one. So probably off of Milwaukee here.
You've been around. You're even older than me, JT, and it makes me happy. Favorite old Brave, Julio Teheran or Jair Jurgens? Which one moves the needle a little bit more for you, Jair Jurgens or Julio Teheran?
No, I remember the first time that I heard Jair Jurgens' name. It was only because of DFS at the time, and I was like, "What is this?" And
2008.
Yeah, he's out of the league. And no, Teheran had a season. He had one good season. Everything else has been not really very good. Yeah. And I don't even know where he's been pitching, DC. Has he been like independent ball? Has he been throwing plyo balls in his backyard? I mean,
he's
been in El Paso for the El Paso Chihuahuas, giving up a 493 on base percentage to left-handed bats and a 615 slugging.
Is that good?
Not great from Teheran.
So that's why we like the Giants. Some people like the Giants tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants are going to be popular, but it's also, because of the fact that the bullpen is going to be predominantly right-handed, we suspect tonight, because of how bad Teheran is. And they really do. This is a situation where, similar to Dodd, right? They're not bringing Teheran up because, oh, wow, he's impressive.
No, absolutely not. No.
They're bringing him up to essentially eat some innings, which means if he gives up 4 or 5 runs, he may actually give up 8 or 9 runs. He may be left in there just to wear one here for this team, let them get through this day. And it's just listen, it's baseball. Anything can happen. But I think, especially if you're multi-entering, if you're not playing the Giants in at least some lineups, I just don't think that's a wise strategy tonight.
I guess now we're just going to start getting random Braves thrown up here. That's going to be wonderful. Yeah, JT, I'll tell you right now, I moved to Atlanta. We lived there for a little bit in middle school. Old Fulton County Stadium, Chief Nakahoma. I don't think you were down when Chief Nakahoma was there. He got canceled pretty soon back in the 90s. They said that's not very nice to do anymore. Hundreds of people in the stands, just an awful place to watch a game. And Turner Field was nice. There's 4 places I haven't been to watch a game. Atlanta's one of them. Like, is that park really that good? Is it just gorgeous?
Oh, Truist is beautiful. The area around it's beautiful. And, Fulton County Stadium, you mentioned the scenario that's going on in Oakland right now. Right? I mean, that's kind of what's going on in Oakland today. Same thing.
Vegas. Give me a break. The roof will be open for about 2 weeks a year in Vegas. It will. You'll have it in April, and that's it. You'll have it 2 weeks in April, and then the rest of the year it's going to suck. Like button's awesome. We want 600 likes for this show. That'll be great. And then, not to forget, just get in right now. First month, 15% off. Use the code DC15, 15% off. We got so much going on right now. Golf season. The Golf team crushing it once again in DFS. Schneider hitting the bet. Koepka winning things there. Obviously, baseball in full swing. NBA Showdown. JSU and Tony just did a show. I think Kate Fallick hopped on too while we were on the air, so that was great. And, that's what's happening right now.
The Soldiers, too. I mean, he's got a 70% rate of the Soldiers making the cut. Snyder's Soldiers.
70%?
70%.
Is that
guy's
good?
A fucking oracle. He's an oracle.
Is that good?
It's fantastic.
Question of the day, guys. Judge or Bryce Harper, DKGPP?
2 of the top plays on the slate right there. It would depend on the rest of your lineup for me, honestly.
I would suspect that Judge might be slightly lower owned, but not by a lot.
Okay. Well, let's keep rolling here because we do have 2 games left. We got the Mets taking on the Cubs. We got Kyle Hendricks up from AAA. You guys already broke down Cookie Carrasco. Did Christopher Morel hit a home run? The answer today was no. Maybe it'll happen again tonight. DC. How much Morel you could have in the lineup? Because it was honestly shocking to see that he didn't hit one last night. What did he have? What were we talking about? Like 7 of 8 and 8 of 10? He was just on a complete roll.
Yeah, he was seems like he just got called up to the big leagues, and he's passed 90% of the league in home runs for the season. He's got 9 already. It's been crazy good. I saw a stat that he's actually faced really, really tough pitching even throughout this entire run, which is pretty crazy. And he's had to deal with this weather in Chicago, which is really not conducive to power hitting right now. Same weather that he's had, this whole series, right, has been 50 degrees, 55 degrees, wind blowing in, same as it is today. So you see an 8 total in this game. If this wouldn't even have to be wind blowing out in Wrigley, right? If we just had 65, 70 degrees and neutral wind, I think you'd see a total over 10 between Carrasco and Hendricks. But the weather is obviously very tough on hitters. And it just has me going away from this game for bats in general. I'm not going to have much Morel or really any other hitters in this game. We talked about Carrasco. If you do want to go to a pitcher in this good weather game, I think Carrasco over Hendricks would be my choice. Don't love either, but it's a tough pitching slate, obviously, as we talked about. And, that's pretty much Cubs, Mets for me.
Okay. Sorry, JT, I got a little distracted. When I told you I moved in with my lady, I have this 15-year-old cat. She has a 16-year-old dog. Thing has dementia. So sometimes it'll just sit in the room and just stare at me. And it was a little bit freaky, to be honest with you. So in one ear, I'm trying to hear who I'm playing from this game. And the other side, I've got an elderly dog looking at me, not knowing who the fuck I am. And again, you're 50 today, so you'll be there soon. What do you like from this game, JT?
Yeah, I'll be asking you to borrow the dog so we can just sit there and stare at each other.
It really is kind of fun sometimes.
Yeah. So I talked about Carrasco would be the guy that I'm going to have some shares of. But if Carrasco is, he's 36, if he is broken here, I actually don't mind taking shots on the Cubs just because of the ownership here. So probably more mini stacks. But the other thing to remember is the Mets, third worst bullpen on this slate so far this season. So they've got some injuries there. Adam Ottavino has been absolutely terrible. And no one's going to play this game because of the weather. So they're interesting, a couple of shares of the Cubbies.
That's quick and succinct. So we'll get to the last game then. We've been talking, and JT, I'll finish with you here. You can go first on Oakland, Seattle. We've talked about how pairing both pitchers in the same game could be a way to get a little bit different tonight. That being said, I know it's crazy, but Estuary Ruiz steals a base every freaking night, it seems like. The A's lineup is not out yet. There are probably a couple of bats in the Mariners lineup you could go with if you wanted to there. JP Sears has been a decent pitcher, though. How are you handling this A's-Mariners game? Do you have any interest in the bats? Mini stack, full stack? What do you got?
Yeah, so I'll start with Logan Gilbert. I mean, I am on Logan Gilbert tonight. I'm going to have a lot of Logan Gilbert. I haven't decided. I think this is a spot where I would say 85% of the time, if you lock him in based on his projection, comparable to the other pitchers, matchup, field, you're going to come out ahead most of the time. So I'm considering doing that. We've seen so far this season, you can always play Estuary Ruiz as a one-off, because if he gets on first, especially against Gilbert, a guy you can run on, he's been, and I've watched these games that he's playing, he's going first pitch. I mean, he's not spent a lot of time on first base. When he gets there, he's trying to get to second. And what we've also seen is when he gets to second, he's trying to get to third. So all of a sudden, you're at 13 points in one at-bat if he gets on and Logan doesn't pay attention to him. So I think you can play him as a one-off, but I think DC said it best. Even if you're going heavy like I am on Logan Gilbert, it's never crazy if you're playing 20 or more lineups. Sneak in an Oakland stack because you're going to get them at 2% ownership. But remember, Seattle's bullpen has been outstanding. It's not a spot I love. So I probably, if anything, I would go maybe a one-off with Ruiz or one of the power lefties if they get in there. Like I'm talking about, I guess Ryan Noda, really the only power lefty. Seth Brown is back now. Maybe you can play him as well. On the other side of this game, we talked about JP Sears. JP Sears has been a very good pitcher. By the numbers, JP Sears has been the second best pitcher on this slate. That's just factoring in where his hard hits are, his strikeout rate, his walk rate, his comparables. I mean, 7,300 for what is the second best pitcher on the slate in the lowest game total. Ty France is back tonight. The Mariners lineup did come out, but still, the Mariners overall, 27% strikeout rate and a ISO in the 160s, weighted run creation below 100. I think it's a good spot to take a chance here on JP Sears. He's not going to be as highly owned as Nola or Schmidt. It's going to come in around 20-25%. So I like that pairing. If you're not playing JP Sears, we know all too well Oakland's bullpen, worst in the game, has been for the season. We have seen games where the starting pitcher has done well against the opposing team and the bullpen has come in and given up 7, 8, 9 runs. Now, the thing that's against that here is this park, this weather. It's going to be in the 60s. This isn't a great hitter's park. So I'm not very high on the Mariners tonight, but I cannot fault you for trying to take advantage of that bullpen. But JP Sears is the best starter in this Oakland rotation. And not just that, he's been an above average pitcher so far this season.
All right, very good. We got through the games. We'll get to the stacks. Let's hit the like button one more time. I'll let you know about that. The playbook is up. Gary did the playbook today for the subscribers. He gives you his 4 pitchers and then breaks down every single freaking position that there is. So Gary just crushing it today. Obviously couldn't hop on the show today. He's too busy. He's got other things to do apparently. And Uncle T has hit. Oh, Uncle T. I see what I think Uncle T's been listening to the show a little bit, boys. I think Uncle T picked up a little idea or two from this show. I like it. Anyways, it's time for some plays. It's time for some stacks. It's time for some other stuff. Let me go find this. Mom's Basement is what we do first. Yes, Draft Cheat, talk to me. What would be the Run Pure Mom's Basement play of the day?
Yeah, a lot of good options today, but we'll go out to Milwaukee, and I'm picking on lefties picking on Julio Teheran with some lefties. I think there's a few different guys you can go to, but my favorite of the bunch, leadoff hitter Lamont Wade, who has quietly had a really strong season for the Giants. They typically leave him in there against lefties, although we're not super worried about that tonight. Probably only one available lefty out of the pen for the Brewers. So, yeah, Lamont Wade, Mom's Basement play of the day.
All right, what do you got, DC, as I pull up the Eiffel Tower play of the day?
Yeah, I'm at risk here because there's a couple of people in here that know that I Holden have, as you would put it, very cheap Brave season tickets. Whatever, they're not, but
oh, you overpaid for shitty seats. That's all you're saying.
They're beautiful. You know what, Holden? If you ever come to Atlanta, Joey. All right. So anyway, DC, when you come to Atlanta, we'll go to a game. And
let me say this, GT. I would be honored and privileged to join you in the Chop House. I think your seats are fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you. Holden, let's put
How
you
far
on
is
mute.
it from Johnson's Ferry Road?
So here's what we're gonna do. We didn't last very long. You bastard.
You tried to beat me. It doesn't work.
We're going to go against the Tribe tonight. It's a guy who I think is going to get right. The Philly crowd has been on him, and he started to come alive. He had a game-tying 2-run home run yesterday. I think you really can't steal against the Braves, but I like the power. He's facing a lefty. We're going to go with Trey Turner as the Eiffel Tower play of the day.
Okay, very good. What is this one? This says edibles. Is that me? Has this been around for a while, this edibles thing?
It's likely you, yes.
Yeah,
it's definitely not me.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely not you. Once in a while, it could be DC, but I'm not going to speak on that. Always Stevie Boyd, very underrated when it comes to that.
DC's more into the White Claws.
Tyro Estrada tonight. He's gonna break out. He's gonna hit his first home run in like 6 months. It's gonna be great. Tyro Estrada, the edibles play of the day. Like button on the way out would be great. What are you shaking your head about? Is it because you had Lamont Wade and I just had to take Tyro? What are you shaking your head about, DC? Or is it just the fact you're lamenting spending the last hour and 7 minutes and 24 seconds with me?
A little bit of both, to be honest. But the main thing was, we spent all show talking about these lefties for the Giants against Tehran. Of course, you go with the right hand, the most expensive right-handed batter.
At least it's not like the 9-hitter. At least it's like someone coming up in the order.
Tyro's a stud. All the lefties are going to get on. He's going to knock them in. It's pretty simple stuff.
I tried to catch myself on the head shake because I just want to get out of here.
No, I saw it.
But
you didn't catch yourself well at all, my friend.
You didn't want more engagement. DC
15% off first month's payment. NBA show is done. They ended up doing something. I don't even. They did a basketball show. I'm going to go watch it now. The rest of it. So showdown tonight. Go win a whole bunch of money. It's going to be absolutely amazing.